The Chase, also known as the Wild Huntsman. This is part one of the translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. Part 1. The Chase, also known as the Wild Huntsman. The Wildgrave winds his bugle horn, to horse, halloo, halloo! His fiery courser snuffs the morn, and thronging serfs their lords pursue. The eager pack, from couples freed, dash through the bush, the briar, the brake, while answering hound and horn and steed the mountain echoes startling wake. The beams of God's own hallowed day had painted yonder spire with gold, and calling sinful man to pray, loud, long, and deep the bell had tolled. But still the Wildgrave onward rides, halloo, halloo, and hark again! When spurring from opposing sides, two stranger horsemen join the train. Who was each stranger, left and right? Well may I guess, but dare not tell. The right-hand steed was silver white, the left the swarthy hue of hell. The right-hand horseman, young and fair, his smile was like the morn of May. The left, from eye of tawny glare, shot midnight lightning's lurid ray. He waved his huntsman's cap on high, cried, "Welcome, welcome, noble lord! What sport can earth or sea or sky to match the princely chase afford?" "Cease thy loud bugle's clanging knell," cried the fair youth with silver voice, "and for devotion's choral swell exchange the rude unhallowed noise. To-day the ill-omened chase forbear, yon bell yet summons to the fane. To-day the warning spirit hear, to-morrow thou mayst mourn in vain." "Away, and sweep the glades along," the sable hunter horse replies, "To muttering monks leave matin song, and bells, and books, and mysteries." The Wildgrave spurred his ardent steed, and launching forward with a bound, "Who for thy drowsy priest-like reed would leave the jovial horn and hound? Hence, if our manly sport offend, with pious fools go chant and pray. Well hast thou spoke, my dark-browed friend, halloo, halloo, and hark away!" The Wildgrave spurred his courser light, over moss and moor, over holt and hill, and on the left and on the right each stranger horseman followed still. Up springs from yonder tangled thorn a stag more white than mountain snow, and louder rung the Wildgrave's horn, "Hark forward, forward, holla, ho!" A heedless wretch has crossed the way, he gasps the thundering hoofs below, but live who can, or die who may, still forward, forward, on they go. See, where yon simple fences meet, a field with autumn's blessings crowned, see prostrate at the Wildgrave's feet a husbandman with toil embrowned. "O mercy, mercy, noble lord, spare the poor's pittance," was his cry, "earned by the sweat these brows have poured in scorching hour of fierce July." Earnest the right-hand stranger pleads, the left still cheering to the prey. The impetuous Earl no warning heeds, but furious holds the onward way. "Away, thou hound, so basely born, or dread the scourge's echoing blow!" Then loudly rung his bugle horn, "Hark forward, forward, holla, ho!" So said, so done. A single bound clears the poor labourer's humble pale. Wild follows man, and horse, and hound, like dark December's stormy gale. And man, and horse, and hound, and horn destructive sweep the field along, while, joying over the wasted corn, Fell famine marks the maddening throng. Again uproused, the timorous prey scours moss and moor, and holt and hill. Hard run, he feels his strength decay, and trusts for life his simple skill. Too dangerous solitude appeared. He seeks the shelter of the crowd. Amid the flock's domestic herd, his harmless head he hopes to shroud. Over moss and moor, and holt and hill, his track the steady bloodhounds trace. Over moss and moor, unwearied still, the furious Earl pursues the chase. Full lowly did the herdsman fall. " O spare, thou noble Baron, spare! These herds, a widow's little all, these flocks, an orphan's fleecy care." Earnest the right hand stranger pleads, the left still cheering to the prey. The Earl nor prayer nor pity heeds, but furious keeps the onward way. " Unmannered dog, to stop my sport! Vain were thy cant and beggar whine, Though human spirits of thy sort were tenants of these carrion kine." Again he winds his bugle horn. " Hark forward, forward, holla, ho !" And through the herd, in ruthless scorn, he cheers his furious hounds to go. In heaps the throttled victims fall, down sinks their mangled herdsman near. The murderous cries the stag appall. Again he starts, new nerved by fear. With blood besmeared and white with foam, while big the tears of anguish pour, he seeks amid the forest's gloom the humble hermit's hallowed bower. But man and horse and horn and hound, fast rattling on his traces go, the sacred chapel rung around with " Hark away !" and " Holla ho !" All mild amid the rout profane, the holy hermit poured his prayer. " Forbear with blood God's house to stain, revere his altar and forbear. The meanest brute has rights to plead, which, wronged by cruelty or pride, draw vengeance on the ruthless head. Be warned at length, and turn aside." Still the fair horseman anxious pleads, the black wild whooping points the prey. Alas, the Earl no warning heeds, but frantic keeps the forward way. " Holy or not, or right or wrong, thy altar and its rites I spurn. Not sainted martyr's sacred song, not God himself shall make me turn." He spurs his horse, he winds his horn. " Hark forward, forward, holla ho !" But off on whirlwind's pinions borne, the stag, the hut, the hermit go. And horse and man, and horn and hound, and clamour of the chase was gone. For hoofs and howls and bugle sound, a deadly silence reigned alone. Wild gazed the affrighted Earl around. He strove in vain to wake his horn, in vain to call, for not a sound could from his anxious lips be borne. He listens for his trusty hounds, no distant baying reached his ears. His courser, rooted to the ground, the quickening spur unmindful bears. Still dark and darker frown the shades, dark as the darkness of the grave, and not a sound the still invades, save what a distant torrent gave. High o'er the sinner's humbled head at length the solemn silence broke, and from a cloud of swarthy red the awful voice of thunder spoke. " Oppressor of creation fair, apostate spirit's hardened tool, scorner of God, scourge of the poor, the measure of thy cup is full. Be chased for ever through the wood, for ever roam the affrighted wild, and let thy fate instruct the proud, God's meanest creature is his child." 'Twas hushed. One flash of sombre glare with yellow tinged the forest's brown. Up rose the Wildgrave's bristling hair, and horror chilled each nerve and bone. Cold poured the sweat in freezing rill, a rising wind began to sing, and louder, louder, louder still, brought storm and tempest on its wing. Earth heard the call, her entrails rend from yawning rifts with many a yell. Mixed with sulphurous flames ascend the misbegotten dogs of hell. What ghastly huntsman next arose well may I guess, but dare not tell. His eye like midnight lightning glows, his steed the swarthy hue of hell. The Wildgrave flies over bush and thorn, with many a shriek of helpless woe. Behind him hound and horse and horn, and hark away and holla ho! With wild despair's reverted eye, close, close behind, he marks the throng. With bloody fangs and eager cry, in frantic fear he scours along. Still, still shall last the dreadful chase, till time itself shall have an end. By day they scour earth's caverned space, at midnight's witching hour ascend. This is the horn, the hound and horse, that oft the lated peasant hears. Appalled he signs the frequent cross, when the wild din invades his ears. The wakeful priest oft drops a tear, for human pride or human woe, when at his midnight mass he hears the infernal cry of Holla ho! End of part 1. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. William and Helen. This is part 2 of the translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. Part 2. William and Helen. From heavy dreams fair Helen rose, and eyed the dawning red. Alas, my love, thou tarriest long, O art thou false or dead? With gallant Frederick's princely power he sought the bold crusade, but not a word from Judah's wars told Helen how he sped. With Paynim and with Saracen at length a truce was made, and every knight returned to dry the tears his love had shed. Our gallant host was homeward bound with many a song of joy. Green waved the laurel in each plume, the badge of victory. And old and young, and sire and son, to meet them crowd the way, with shouts and mirth and melody, the debt of love to pay. Full many a maid her true love met, and sobbed in his embrace, and fluttering joy in tears and smiles arrayed full many a face. Nor joy nor smile for Helen sad, she sought the host in vain, for none could tell her William's fate, if faithless or if slain. The martial band is past and gone, she rends her raven hair, and in distraction's bitter mood she weeps with wild despair. "O rise, my child," her mother said, "nor sorrow thus in vain. A perjured lover's fleeting heart no tears recall again. O mother, what is gone is gone, what's lost for ever lorn. Death, death alone can comfort me, oh had I never been born. Oh break my heart, oh break at once, drink my life blood despair. No joy remains on earth for me in heaven no share. O enter not in judgment, Lord," the pious mother prays. "Impute not guilt to thy frail child, she knows not what she says. O say thy paternoster, child, O turn to God and grace. His will that turned thy bliss to bale can change thy bale to bliss. O mother, mother, what is bliss? O mother, what is bale? My William's love was heaven on earth, without it earth is hell. Why should I pray to ruthless heaven, since my loved William's slain? I only prayed for William's sake, and all my prayers were vain. O take the sacrament, my child, and check these tears that flow. By resignation's humble prayer, O hallowed be thy woe. No sacrament can quench this fire, or slake this scorching pain. No sacrament can bid the dead arise and live again. O break my heart, O break at once, be thou my God, despair. heaven's heaviest blow has fallen on me, and vain each fruitless prayer. Oh, enter not in judgment, Lord, with thy frail child of clay. She knows not what her tongue has spoke, impute it not, I pray. Forbear, my child, this desperate woe, and turn to God and grace. Well can devotion's heavenly glow convert thy bale to bliss. O mother, mother, what is bliss? O mother, what is bale? Without my William, what were heaven? Or with him, what were hell? Wild she arraigns the eternal doom, upbraids each sacred power, till spent she sought her silent room, all in the lonely tower. She beat her breast, she wrung her hands, till sun and day were over, and through the glimmering lattice shone the twinkling of the star. Then crash the heavy drawbridge fell, that over the moat was hung, and clatter, clatter on its boards the hoof of courser rung. The clank of echoing steel was heard, as off the rider bounded, and slowly on the winding stair a heavy footstep sounded. And hark, a knock, tap, tap, a rustling, stifled noise, door latch and tinkling staples ring, at length a whispering voice. Awake, awake, arise, my love, how, Helen, dost thou fare? Wakest thou or sleepest, laughest thou or weepest? Hast thought on me, my fair? My love, so late by night I waked, I wept for thee. Much have I borne since dawn of morn, where, William, couldst thou be? We saddle late from Hungary, I rode since darkness fell, and to its bourne we both return before the matin bell. O rest this night within my arms, and warm thee in their fold. Chill howls through hawthorn bush the wind, my love is deadly cold. Let the wind howl through hawthorn bush, this night we must away. The steed is white, the spur is bright, I cannot stay till day. Busk, busk, and born, thou mountest behind upon my black barb steed. Over stock and stile 100 miles we haste to bridal bed. To-night, 100 miles? O dearest William, stay! The bell strikes 12, dark dismal hour, O wait, my love, till day. Look here, the moon shines clear, full fast I ween we ride. Mount and away, for ere the day we reach our bridal bed. The black barb snorts, the bridle rings, haste, busk, and born, and seat thee. The feast is made, the chamber spread, the bridal guests await thee. Strong love prevailed, she busks, she bonds, she mounts the barb behind, and round her darling William's waist her lily arms she twined. And hurry, off they rode, as fast might be. Spurned from the courser's thundering heels the flashing pebbles flee. And on the right and on the left, ere they could snatch a view, fast each mountain, mead and plain, and cot and castle flew. Sit fast, dost fear? The moon shines clear, fleet rides my barb. Keep hold! Fearest thou? Oh no, she faintly said, but why so stern and cold? What yonder rings? What yonder sings? Why shrieks the owlet grey? 'Tis death bells' clang, 'tis funeral song, the body to the clay. With song and clang at morrow's dawn ye may inter the dead. To-night I ride with my young bride to deck our bridal bed. Come with thy choir, thou coffined guest, to swell our nuptial song. Come, priest, to bless our marriage feast. Come all along. Ceased clang and song, down sunk the bier, the shrouded corpse arose, and hurry, all the train the thundering steed pursues. And forward, on they go, high snorts the straining steed, thick pants the rider's labouring breath, as headlong on they speed. O William, why this savage haste, and where thy bridal bed? 'Tis distant far, still short and stern, 'tis narrow, trustless maid. No room for me? Enough for both. Speed, my barb, thy course! Over thundering bridge, through boiling surge, he drove the furious horse. Tramp, along the land they rode, splash, along the sea. The steed is white, the spur is bright, the flashing pebbles flee. fled past on right and left, how fast each forest, grove, and bower. On right and left fled past, how fast each city, town, and tower. Dost fear? Dost fear? The moon shines clear. Dost fear to ride with me? Hurrah! Hurrah! The dead can ride. O William, let them be. See there! See there! What yonder swings and creaks mid whistling rain? Gibbet and steel, the accursed wheel, a murderer in his chain. Hollo, thou felon! Follow here! To bridal bed we ride, and thou shalt prance a fetter dance before me and my bride. And hurry, hurry! Clash, clash, clash! The wasted form descends, and fleet as wind through hazel bush the wild career attends. Tramp, tramp, along the land they rode, splash, splash, along the sea. The scourge is red, the spur drops blood, the flashing pebbles flee. How fled what moonshine faintly showed, how fled what darkness hid, how fled the earth beneath their feet, the heaven above their head. Dost fear? Dost fear? The moon shines clear, and well the dead can ride. Does faithful Helen fear for them? O leave in peace the dead. Barb, Barb, methinks I hear the cock, the sand will soon be run. Barb, Barb, I smell the morning air, the race is well nigh done. Tramp, tramp, along the land they rode, splash, splash, along the sea. The scourge is red, the spur drops blood, the flashing pebbles flee. Hurrah! Hurrah! Well ride the dead, the bride is come, and soon we reach the bridal bed. For Helen, here's my home. Reluctant on its rusty hinge revolved an iron door, and by the pale moon's setting beam were seen a church and tower. With many a shriek and cry whiz round the birds of midnight scared, and rustling like autumnal leaves unhallowed ghosts were heard. Over many a tomb and tombstone pale he spurred the fiery horse, till sudden at an open grave he checked the wondrous course. The falling gauntlet quits the rein, down drops the casque of steel, the cuirass leaves his shrinking side, the spur his gory heel. The eyes desert the naked skull, the mouldering flesh the bone, till Helen's lily arms entwine a ghastly skeleton. The furious Barb snorts fire and foam, and with a fearful bound dissolves at once in empty air, and leaves her on the ground. Half seen by fits, half heard, pale spectres fleet along, wheel round the maid in dismal dance, and howl the funeral song. Even when the hearts with anguish cleft revere the doom of heaven, her soul is from her body reft, her spirit be forgiven. End of part 2. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. The Fire King. This is part 3 of the translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. Part 3. The Fire King. Bold knights and fair dames, to my harp give an ear, of love and of war and of wonder to hear, and you haply may sigh in the midst of your glee at the tale of Count Albert and fair Rosalie. O see you that castle so strong and so high, and see you that lady, the tear in her eye, and see you that Palmer from Palestine's land, the shell on his hat and the staff in his hand. Now, Palmer, grey Palmer, O tell unto me, what news bring you home from the holy country? And how goes the warfare by Galilee's strand? And how fare our nobles, the flower of the land? O well goes the warfare by Galilee's wave, for Gilead and Nablus and Ramah we have, and well fare our nobles by Mount Lebanon, for the heathen have lost and the Christians have won. A rich chain of gold mid her ringlets there hung. Over the Palmer's grey locks the fair chain has she flung. " O Palmer, grey Palmer, this chain be thy fee For the news thou hast brought from the holy country. O Palmer, good Palmer, by Galilee's wave, O saw ye Count Albert, the gentle and brave, When the Crescent went back and the Red Cross rushed on? O saw ye him foremost on Mount Lebanon? O lady, fair lady, the tree green it grows, O lady, fair lady, the stream pure it flows. Your castle stands strong, and your hopes soar on high, But, lady, fair lady, all blossoms to die. The green boughs they wither, the thunderbolt falls, It leaves of your castle but levin-scorched walls. The pure stream runs muddy, the gay hope is gone, Count Albert is prisoner on Mount Lebanon. Oh, she's taken a horse, should be fleet at her speed, And she's taken a sword, should be sharp at her need, And she's taken shipping for Palestine's land, To ransom Count Albert from Soldary's hand. Small thought had Count Albert on fair Rosalie, Small thought on his faith or his knighthood had he. A heathenish damsel his light heart had won, The Soldan's fair daughter of Mount Lebanon. O Christian, brave Christian, my love wouldst thou be, 3 things must thou do ere I hearken to thee. Our laws and our worship on thee shalt thou take, And this thou shalt first do for Zulima's sake, And next in the cavern where burns evermore The mystical flame which the Kurdmans adore, Alone and in silence 3 nights shalt thou wake, And this thou shalt next do for Zulima's sake. And last thou shalt aid us with counsel and hand, To drive the Frank robber from Palestine's land. For my lord and my love then Count Albert I'll take, When all this is accomplished for Zulima's sake. He is thrown by his helmet and cross-handled sword, Renouncing his knighthood, denying his lord. He has taken the green caftan and turban put on, For the love of the maiden of fair Lebanon. And in the dread cavern, deep, deep underground, Which 50 steel gates and steel portals surround, He has watched until daybreak, but sight saw he none, Save the flame burning bright on its altar of stone. Amazed was the Princess, the Soldan amazed, Saw murmured the priests as on Albert they gazed. They searched all his garments, and under his weeds They found and took from him his rosary beads. Again in the cavern, deep, deep underground, He watched the lone night, while the winds whistled round. Far off was their murmur, it came not more nigh, The flame burned unmoved, and nought else did he spy. Loud murmured the priests, and amazed was the king, While many dark spells of their witchcraft they sing. They searched Albert's body, and lo, on his breast Was the sign of the cross by his father impressed. The priests they erase it with care and with pain, And the recreant returned to the cavern again. But as he descended, a whisper there fell, It was his good angel who bade him farewell. High bristled his hair, his heart fluttered and beat, And he turned him 5 steps, half resolved to retreat. But his heart it was hardened, his purpose was gone, When he thought on the maiden of fair Lebanon. Scarce passed he the archway, the threshold scarce trod, When the winds from the 4 points of heaven were abroad. They made each steel portal to rattle and ring, And borne on the blast came the dread Fire King. Full sore rocked the cavern whene'er he drew nigh, The fire on the altar blazed bickering and high. In volcanic explosions the mountains proclaim The dreadful approach of the monarch of flame. Unmeasured in height, undistinguished in form, His breath it was lightning, his voice it was storm. I ween the stout heart of Count Albert was tame, When he saw in his terrors the monarch of flame. In his hand a broad falchion Blue glimmered through smoke, and Mount Lebanon shook as the monarch he spoke. With this brand shalt thou conquer, thus long and no more, till thou bend to the cross and the Virgin adore. The cloud shrouded arm gives the weapon, and see, the recreant receives the charmed gift on his knee. The thunders growl distant, and faint gleam the fires, as borne on his whirlwind the phantom retires. Count Albert has armed him, the Paynim among. Though his heart it was false, yet his arm it was strong. And the red cross waxed faint, and the crescent came on, from the day he commanded on Mount Lebanon. From Lebanon's forests to Galilee's wave, the sands of Samar drank the blood of the brave, till the Knights of the Temple and Knights of Saint John, with Salem's King Baldwin, against him came on. The war cymbals clattered, the trumpets replied, the lances were couched, and they closed on each side, and horsemen and horses Count Albert overthrew, till he pierced the thick tumult King Baldwin unto. Against the charmed blade which Count Albert did wield, the fence had been vain of the King's red cross shield, but a page thrust him forward, the monarch before, and cleft the proud turban the renegade wore. So fell was the dint, that Count Albert stooped low before the crossed shield to his steel saddle-bow, and scarce had he bent to the red cross his head, Bonne grâce Notre Dame, he unwittingly said. Sore sighed the charmed sword, for his virtue was o'er, it sprung from his grasp, and was never seen more. But true men have said that the lightning's red wing did waft back the brand to the dread Fire King. He clenched his set teeth, and his gauntleted hand he stretched with one buffet that page on the strand. As back from the stripling the broken casque rolled, you might see the blue eyes and the ringlets of gold. Short time had Count Albert in horror to stare on those death-swimming eyeballs and blood-cluttered hair, for down came the Templars like Cedron in flood, and dyed their long lances in Saracen blood. The Saracens, Curdmans, and Ishmaelites yield to the scallop, the saltier, and crosleted shield, and the eagles were gorged with the infidel dead, from Bethsaida's fountains to Naphtali's head. The battle is over on Bethsaida's plain. Oh, who is yon Paynim lies stretched mid the slain? And who is yon page lying cold at his knee? Oh, who but Count Albert and fair Rosalie? The lady was buried in Salem's blest bound, the Count he was left to the vulture and hound. Her soul to high mercy our Lady did bring, his went on the blast to the dread Fire King. Yet many a minstrel in harping can tell how the red cross it conquered, and the crescent it fell, and lords and gay ladies have sighed mid their glee at the tale of Count Albert and fair Rosalie. End of part 3, recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Frederick and Alice. This is part 4 of the Translations and Imitations of German Ballads by Sir Walter Scott. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Translations and Imitations of German Ballads by Sir Walter Scott. Part 4, Frederick and Alice. Frederick leaves the land of France, homewards hastes his steps to measure, careless casts the parting glance on the scene of former pleasure. Joying in his prancing steed, keen to prove his untried blade, hope's gay dreams the soldier lead over mountain, moor, and glade. Helpless, ruined, left forlorn, lovely Alice wept alone, mourned over love's fond contract torn, hope and peace and honour flown. Mark her breast's convulsive throbs, see the tear of anguish flows, mingling soon with bursting sobs, loud the laugh of frenzy rose. Wild she cursed and wild she prayed, 7 long days and nights are o'er. Death in pity brought his aid, as the village bell struck 4. Far from her, and far from France, faithless Frederick onward rides, marking blithe the morning's glance, mantling o'er the mountain's sides. Heard ye not the boding sound, as the tongue of yonder tower slowly to the hills around told the 4th, the fated hour? Starts the steed, and snuffs the air, yet no cause of dread appears. Bristles high the rider's hair, struck with strange mysterious fears. Desperate as his terrors rise, in the steed the spur he hides, from himself in vain he flies, anxious, restless, on he rides. 7 long days and 7 long nights wild he wandered, woe the while! Ceaseless care and causeless fright urge his footsteps many a mile. Dark the 7th sad night descends, rivers swell and rain streams pour, while the deafening thunder lends all the terrors of its roar. Weary, wet, and spent with toil, where his head shall Frederick hide? Where but in yon ruined isle, by the lightning's flash descried? To the portal, dank and low, fast his steed the Wanderer bound, down a ruined staircase slow, next his darkling way he wound. Long drear vaults before him lie, glimmering lights are seen to glide. Blessed Mary, hear my cry, deign a sinner's steps to guide. Often lost their quivering beam, still the lights move slow before, till they rest their ghastly gleam right against an iron door. Thundering voices from within, mixed with peals of laughter, rose. As they fell, a solemn strain lent its wild and wondrous close. Midst the din he seemed to hear voice of friends by death removed. Well he knew that solemn air, 'twas the lay that Alice loved. Hark! for now a solemn knell 4 times on the still night broke, 4 times at its deadened swell echoes from the ruins spoke. As the lengthened clangours die, slowly opes the iron door. Straight a banquet met his eye, but a funeral's form it wore. Coffins for the seats extend, all with black the board was spread, girt by parent, brother, friend, long since numbered with the dead. Alice, in her grave clothes bound, ghastly smiling, points a seat. All arose with thundering sound, all the expected stranger greet. High their meagre arms they wave, wild their notes of welcome swell. Welcome, traitor, to the grave perjured, bid the light farewell. End of part 4. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. The Erl King. This is part 5 of the translations and imitations of German ballads by Sir Walter Scott. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com. Translations and Imitations of German Ballads by Sir Walter Scott, Part 5. The Erl King. Oh, who rides by night through the woodland so wild? It is the fond father embracing his child, and close the boy nestles within his loved arm, from the blast of the tempest to keep himself warm. "O father, see yonder," he says. "My boy, upon what dost thou fearfully gaze?" "Oh, 'tis the Erl King with his staff and his shroud." "No, my love, it is but a dark wreath of the cloud."
"Oh, wilt thou go with me, thy loveliest child? By many gay sports shall thy hours be beguiled. My mother keeps for thee full many a fair toy, and many a fine flower shall she pluck for my boy."
"O father, my father, and did you not hear the Erl King whisper so close in my ear? Be still, my loved darling, my child, be at ease. It was but the wild blast as it howled through the trees."
"Oh, wilt thou go with me, thy loveliest boy? My daughter shall tend thee with care and with joy. She shall bear thee so lightly through wet and through wild, and hug thee and kiss thee and sing to my child."
"O father, my father, and saw you not plain the Erl King's pale daughter glide past through the rain?" "O no, my heart's treasure, I knew it full soon. It was the grey willow that danced to the moon."
Come with me, no longer delay, or else, silly child, I will drag thee away."
O father, now keep your hold. The Erl King has seized me, his grasp is so cold." Sore trembled the father, he spurred through the wild, clasping close to his bosom his shuddering child. He reaches his dwelling in doubt and in dread, but clasped to his bosom the infant was dead. End of Part 5. End of the Translations and Imitations of German Ballads by Sir Walter Scott. Recorded by Nathan at antipodeanwriter.wordpress.com.